You don't stop when you are tired. You stop when you are done.
Feel the magic in the air.
My name is Sadat Karim, professional football player
Feel the magic in the air.
that plays here in Saudi Arabia. There was a game in Amsterdam as well that I scored hat-trick, give an assist in that game. It's not easy for a player to score a hat-trick and have an assist. That's 4 points in one game. I qualified them to the second league. This was like a proud moment for me because it was like 10 years since they did that. There is a saying in football as well that said you are as good as your last game. Whatever you do in the last game, you have to improve it. You could see a team that has individual talents. This team is very talented, but then they don't win games. It's because they don't have teamwork. They don't have the cohesion and chemistry.
So how important is teamwork, and how do you build great chemistry with your teammates?
Every team that has teamwork.
So now the level that you are on right now, there are a lot of people that look up to you. What are some advice that you have for young athletes looking to become a professional soccer player?
You have to.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And for this video, right, I have a special guest to come and share some valuable game that a lot of us don't really get to have access to, because most of this information is usually behind closed doors, and the people who have access to this information is usually the people in the top 1%. But in this video, that information is finally going to be public to those of us who are looking to become that top 1%. So for those of us interested in soccer or interested in becoming like professional soccer players, then this video was honestly made for you, because we talk about what it actually takes to become professional. You know, in soccer, when you're playing like a high-stake game, right, that little mindset shift that you just feel inside your head, it's like that don't F with me type of like feeling, right? Like you're locked in. Talk about how to enter that type of mindset. So yeah, if you're interested in soccer, then this video is definitely a must watch for you. And if you are able to get one piece of advice which is able to help you through your journey to become professional, then subscribe to the channel, because it's going to help bring in more famous and influential people for an interview, which they could provide more knowledge and value. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get into it. Welcome.
Thank you.
So for the people who don't know who you are, who are you?
My name is Sadat Karim. I'm a football player that plays here in Saudi Arabia. I was born in Ghana. I grew up in Ghana. I passed through a couple of clubs in Ghana before ending up in Sweden. I played a couple of clubs in Sweden before coming to Saudi Arabia a year ago.
So now the level that you are playing right now, you are playing in a very, very high level when it comes to soccer. So my question for you is, what inspired you to become a soccer player?
Growing up in the community that I come from, almost everybody loves soccer. And then also I started watching my father playing when I was very, very young. Now he plays with his friends, and he didn't get the opportunity to play professional as I do. So whilst growing up, I wanted to be able to play professional, to be able to put the name of my father, so everybody would get to know, okay, this is the son of this guy, the son of this. So this is one of the reasons. My father is one of the inspirations. He's one of the reasons that I decided to play football.
So I'm aware that you played many, many games throughout your career. Like you played like countless games throughout your career. So what was the best game that you played, and how was that different from the rest of the other games that you played?
The best game I played last year, I think, was in Sweden when Halmstad played against AIK. I think it's one of the top clubs in Sweden as well. Even though I didn't score, I'm a striker. Even though I didn't score or assisted, I think I played a very good game that day that helped our team, like all-around game for us to win the game. And it was an important victory as well. So it was back in 2021. I received a lot of messages after that game, even though I didn't score that game, but the praises was there. And my coach, everybody saw what I did that day. So that's one of the best games that I could recall.
So how is that different from the rest of the other games that you played previously?
I have a couple of best games that I can remember as well. There was a game in Amsterdam as well that I scored hat-trick and give an assist in that game. It's not easy for a player to score a hat-trick and have an assist. That's 4 points in one game. And then also there's a game that I played here in Saudi Arabia, and I think some months ago. And then also there's a game that I played when I was in Ghana for Accra House of Hope. It's one of the games that I remember as well. But then looking at the atmosphere and then also the what's at stake of that game in Sweden, like in the AIK game. I think is the reason why I feel like it's the best game, because playing against a very good club, a top club in Sweden, is a club that has so much fans. The stadium was literally very full. So these are the games that can make you. These are the games that can put you on top. So it's one of the games that's actually made a lot of people knew me in Sweden. So this is why I consider it like the best game that I played.
So right there, you talked about, fear and high stakes in that game. So what is your mindset like before a game, and how do you enter that mindset?
Before every game, like you have to have confidence in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. And with confidence and belief, it needs hard work. If you don't have stamina, if you don't work hard in training the week before that game, you go in the game lacking confidence and lacking the will of like wanting to fight in the game. But when you train hard within that week, and also you have like a lot of peace of mind, you focus on the game totally without any disruptions. It's one thing that you need a lot when you want to play a football game. You understand? So before that game, I spoke to my parents and I told them that this is the kind of game we're gonna play. It's a high stake game, so I need their prayers as well. And then I slept early in the morning, in the evening, woke up early in the morning and did whatever that I want to do. I read a book before the game, to calm me and all that. So these are some things that I do before a game, especially a high stake game.
So you talked about you moved from Ghana to Accra, then you moved to Sweden to Saudi Arabia. I know it's very, very tough to move from Ghana to another country. So what were things that you were doing that other people were not, that was able to elevate you to the level of a professional soccer player?
One thing in life that everybody needs to be part of your life is self-discipline. It's one thing that is really underrated, especially among the youth these days, to be able to tell yourself no, even when your heart wants it, or when you think like this is what I want, maybe it's not what you need. So growing up in Ghana, there are a lot of things that my friends were doing that I wasn't doing. Like I had friends, but I was always sleeping early. And I took my school as well very serious. Most footballers growing up in Africa, like at the age of 7 to 15, when they want to play football, they feel like, okay, this is what I want to do. So they put aside education. But when you get to a certain level in football, you'll understand that you need that education as well. Because football is like school. You've been taught what to do aside your talent and everything. So one thing that people don't understand is football is not just about talent. It's about how smart you are also to be able to acclimatize in every situation or condition that you find yourself. So self-discipline is one thing that most of my friends didn't have. And then also most of my friends that I grew up with didn't have this power that pushed them. Something that you tell yourself, okay, I can do it. Even if you feel like it's hard for you to do it, you keep on doing it until you succeed. Most of them give up easily too as well. So I have most of them now that are in Ghana. I'm almost 33 now and still playing the highest league. Sometimes they ask like, what have you been doing that we've not been doing? Or what is it about you that you're still playing at this level, at this age? And I always tell them it's hard work, dedication, and self-discipline. And sometimes too, perseverance. You have to have all this in order to get to a certain level that you want to get in football. It's not just about talent.
So before this question, you talked about high-stake games, right? So how do you manage to handle the pressures of high-stake games and stay cool and level-headed?
Reading books will help you calm your nerves. Like it's one of the scientific proven ways of releasing pressure. So when you read books, you don't need to be thinking about the game too much. You have to think about something like your family, the people that you are doing this for. So these kind of things will release the pressure off you, and then also will make you feel like, okay, you need to do this. You need this. Sometimes if you're going to a game and you're going to be thinking about the game too much, I think you will get to the game and then you cannot even play. You understand? So this is something that people need to learn. You need to read books. You need to focus on something else, not necessarily the game. If you want to focus on the game, it has to be positively thinking about, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that. And you have to learn from the games you have played. Because football, there are games that one of my coaches told me that there are games that can make you or make you. high-stake games, games that a lot of the TV coverages, people, audience, everybody come to watch. These are games that can make you or unmake you. So these are the kind of games that you need to focus positively on everything, like on every detail, so especially on what the coaches say you have to do.
So typically in a high-stake game, it's very, very intense and very, very exhausting. So when you're completely tired and completely exhausted, what motivates you and keep you going?
You need to have stamina. You need to have the willpower of like, I need this. If you need something, you will always fight for it until the end. So this is what high stake games. It's not necessarily just the high stake games. There are games that you'll be playing that you feel like, okay, this game we need to win. We need to win this game. So even if you are tired until the final whistle, you have to keep on working hard. You have to keep on working hard until the final whistle. Well, you cannot just give up because you're tired. There's a saying that says like, you don't stop when you are tired. You stop when you are done.
So usually from a high stake game, it puts a lot of strain on your body and it's very, very intense. And usually from intense games, there are a lot of bad injuries that come from them. So how do you manage to recover from those bad injuries?
After games, usually it takes 48 hours to recover. Most professional football players. And like naturally takes 48 hours, unless maybe you're going to take something else. You have to take a lot of water. Then after taking a lot of water, you need to have enough sleep and do some ice bath, which is very, very important. So these ice bath is something that we usually do at least once in a week. And especially after every game, the next day you do ice bath, either the next day or directly after the game. This helps you recover as quick as possible.
So how important is your diet and the food that you eat on your performance on the field?
Food and nutrition too is part of sports. It's very important what you eat, especially 2 days before the game. And the day before the game and the day of the game. There are some kind of food you don't need to eat. There are some kind of food when we go to camp. These are the specific type of food they are giving to us on match days. And food that will not make you heavy on the field. Food that are rich in protein, food that are rich in like fiber and all these kind of food. These are the food that we eat, and eggs especially. Eggs is very important, and bananas. These two food are very important if you want to have that energy that will drive you throughout the game.
So usually from successful people, before they become successful, they have to go through a phase of setbacks. So what was a significant setback that you faced and how did you overcome that setback?
Sometimes I was talking to my friends a couple of days ago, and I was telling him, and like you said, everybody at a point in your life, you have some certain setbacks. But then for you to be able to come out of it depends the situation and the age in which you are, especially with football. You understand? I would say I was lucky, like the time that I had my setback, I was in my early 20s. So I had this injury that was reoccurring. So it was hard for me to be able to recover. And I was in Ghana then. So I had to even force myself to keep playing until I moved to Sweden. That I was able, like I saw the physiotherapists in Sweden and they were able to take care of me. So that injury, I think, is something that, taught me a lot within that period. I think it was a period of between 2012 and 2014. So it taught me a lot about this football life as well. So this between that period was very, very important in shaping me up to where I am now. I had a couple of friends that have had injury setbacks like in their late 20s. And in football, sometimes when you have that kind of setback at that age, it's hard for you to be able to recover. Football is not like any other job that you can say you can play until you are 30 and 33, 35, 36, 37. Even if you take care of yourself, it's hard for you to play at the age of 35 until 40. The vital age in football is from 20 to 25. If you take care of yourself at this stage, between 20 and 25 years, or let me say between 18 to 25 years, you can play until you are 35 or maybe from 35, 36.
So what is one thing that you know right now that you wish you knew when you were younger regarding soccer?
Opportunities. One of the important things in soccer is opportunities. You understand? Like growing up, we all thought like we didn't take that very serious. I had friends that are like managers that push you to get to places that you want. But then for me, I didn't even consider that like as my priority. I didn't have any manager, I didn't have any like agent, anyone until I went to Sweden. So like until I was like 21, 22. But football, if you have the opportunity to travel faster, like if you travel from the age of 17, 18, 19, sometimes it's much easier for you to make it the top level than when you travel from Ghana. When you leave Ghana at the age of from 21, it's even you have to be very lucky like me to leave Ghana at the age of like 21, 22 and directly go to Europe. Most of the players now you see them playing the top league like from Ghana are the ones that left Ghana when they were 16, 17, 18. Maximum age is 19. So one thing that I wish I had knew like would have really big impact on my soccer career is having someone that would have pushed me when I was like 17, 18, 19. But all that time, I think I was in high school, so I wasn't paying much attention to football. Even though I was playing football that time, I was still in school. And I was a science student in school, so it was like, okay, I took football as a hobby then until I was 18, that I knew that I could make it to professional.
So now that you are a professional soccer player, a lot of people can't really comprehend what a day in life is like for you. So can you just go through the process of what a day in a life is like for you?
The life of a professional football player comes with a lot of stress. Sometimes what you do in that 90 minutes of football during the weekend, if you see professional football players have a game in the weekend, maybe 90 minutes of football can determine your mood for the whole week. You understand? So assuming you play a game today and you have a good game, trust me, the whole week you'll be in a really good mood. But then if you have a really bad game, the whole week will be really bad for you. So sometimes planning on what to do during the day, you have to have self-discipline, like keep the routine going. For me, when I wake up in the morning and I take a cup of water early, like before I eat, and then after that I read my books, and then I make a couple of like sit-ups and push-ups. That's voluntary. Like this is not part of my training here in Saudi Arabia that I'm talking about. Like because we train here in the evening. You understand? So I eat lunch and then I watch movie and prepare for evening training. But in Sweden was different. Sweden we train in the morning. So what I do is I wake up early in the morning. Directly I go to training. We eat breakfast there, and then we go to the gym to do a couple of like stretching and preparing for training. And after training, I usually come back, eat lunch, and take a couple of nights, take nap. After nap, maybe I go for walk. When I was in Sweden, I was going to school as well. So I go to school, or either I go to school or go and take a walk.
So what was your favorite moment in your career?
My favorite moment in my career was when I was in Sweden. My third year in Sweden, I played at this club, Las Corona Boys. And I qualified them to the second league. And this was a proud moment for me because it was like 10 years since they did that. You understand? So it was like a moment that the fans, even up to now, like remember me a lot. Sometimes they even tell me you can always come back to Las Corona whenever you want. So when you see people happy because of the input you've had on the field, maybe throughout the season, this is something that puts smiles on your face, like for the rest of your life.
So how do you manage to improve your performance on the field after you've reached a professional level?
There's videos that we get to watch after every game we play. There is a saying in football as well that said you are as good as your last game. So whatever you do in the last game, you have to improve it. There's always room for improvement. There's nothing like, okay, I played my best game, so there's nothing for me to learn again. No, in football, it's not like that. And players that want to reach at the highest level or maybe want to reach the top form, they always keep learning because nobody has ever played football and had like maybe 100% of everything. There's always mistakes in football. So after games, I watch my videos. After watching my videos, then I realize, okay, here I have to do this, I have to do that. Then in training, I practice what I've watched, the mistake that I've made. Then in the next game, I try to rectify it. And one thing is like you're always gonna make mistake in football, but don't be afraid to make a mistake. If you are afraid to make mistakes, no, you're not gonna make it. You have to take risks, especially the position that I play. You have to take risks. You have to push yourself. You have to tell yourself you are able, you are capable of doing this. So this is one thing that I always do after games in order for me to be better and the games that is coming.
So now the level that you are on right now, there are a lot of people that look up to you, and also a lot of youth who are also inspired by you. What are some advice that you have for young athletes looking to become a professional soccer player?
Believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself. That's one important thing. And then also you need to have self-discipline. You need to be able to have like cultivate the habit of having self-discipline. Because right now, in this age, that there's a lot of things for you to do. You understand, like fun things on social media or maybe outside the football field, that takes a lot of energy. So if you want to become a professional football player, you need to sacrifice, because football career is just like 15, 16, maximum is like 18 years. So after that 18 years, I know a lot of footballers now, after they retired, it's when they have fun. You understand? But if you wanna combine the fun and the football, it's not gonna get you far. So one thing that you have to know is like there is always time for everything. If you want to become a professional football player, you need to have self-discipline, you need to work hard, and you need to always respect your coaches and do what they say. This is something that a lot of footballers feel like, okay, I want to play in this position, or maybe this is not my position, or I don't like playing at this place. But you should always, as a good footballer, you should always be able to play wherever the coaches tell you to play. When I started playing football, I wasn't playing as an attacker. I was playing as a right back, left back. And then one coach just pushed me like, go and play attack. I didn't say, okay, I cannot play. I decided to play, and all of a sudden now I'm playing as an attacker for the rest of my life. So you have to also be very humble.
So now that soccer is the #1 sport in the entire world, there are a lot of misconceptions that revolve around professional soccer players. What are some of the biggest misconceptions about being a professional soccer player?
People think professional football players like don't have problems. You know, a lot of people think, okay, like I saw on Twitter a couple of days ago when someone quoted one of the players' tweets and said that I wish I was you. Like I wouldn't complain. When the player was complaining that then footballers play a lot of games this season, this year, that like there's too much games, that games get you exhausted. And this is not good for the body. Now people think, nah, it's easy. You can't be saying this. There are people that work here. There are people that work here. They have it much difficult than you do. But it's not the same. I know, and maybe you might have heard, there are news that footballers died on the pitch. There are news that footballers got like a life-threatening, like injuries. So football too comes with a lot of risks. But people outside don't know. They just see the fun. Even aside the risks, the life-threatening like risks. I tell you something, the depression sometimes that can get in you when you are playing football, especially when you have a bad couple of run-off games. Sometimes if you're not mentally strong, it's hard for you to keep going. I know a lot of footballers that have quit because of that. So life of a footballer is not as easy as people's like outside. All they see is, okay, he's making this amount of money. With this amount of money, I wouldn't have problems. No, it's not the way it works. You will have problems, you will face difficulties, you will be in a situation where you want to give up, where you don't even want to like go in social media because of the people or the harassment that you see people do. I know footballers that deactivated their social media just for their peace, but still wouldn't bring them peace. So this life as a football player is not easy. It's not as easy as people think.
So I know that in a soccer match, there are 11 players on the field. So how important is teamwork, and how do you build great chemistry with your teammates?
For the chemistry, by playing for a longer period of time. If you play with someone for a longer period of time, you know their style of play, you know their weakness, and you know their strength. So when they have the ball, you know what they can do with the ball, and that will also keep you in shape. You will also know what to do when they have the ball, because you know, if I can make this run, if this guy can pass this ball, then I'll make this run for him to pass. Maybe if I have a ball, I know that this guy can make this run and I can pass for him. So sometimes for the chemistry, you have to play for maybe a longer period of time before the chemistry sets in. But for the teamwork, it's one important thing about football. Football is not like tennis or boxing that you can just go individually and win it. No, football is a teamwork. You have to play for the team. If you play for the team, you will be a team player. So always coaches like team players. They don't like players that always want to show off, players that feel like and they want to be like individualistic. It's not like that in football. Football, teamwork comes first. And with every team that has teamwork, they are more capable of winning trophies or titles than teams that have like individual talents. You could see a team that has individual talents. This team is very talented, but then they don't win games. It's because they don't have teamwork. They don't have the cohesion and chemistry. So this is one thing that is really important in football.
So in soccer, there are a lot of attributes that are displayed. So what is the most important attribute in a soccer game?
Fair play. I think fair play is something that even FIFA aware and rewards it. Like in every ceremonial football ceremony, there's always a team or a player that wins the fair play award. Fair play means you have to treat the players on the pitch like either your teammate or your opponent with respect. And then also, if someone is injured, you have to like give time for the person to get treated. Kick the ball out. We call that like football fair play. You have to kick the ball out for the person to be treated. And when the person is treated, the opponents get the ball back, and then they keep the ball to you. So this is fair play. Fair play is one thing that is really important in football. If you have this, you will be respected by your colleagues and you will be respected by the opponents as well.
So apart from soccer, what is your favorite sports and why?
Has to be tennis. I used to watch tennis, and when I was in high school too, and we had a big tennis court in school that I used to play with my friends. And tennis was something that's something that I really loved when I was growing up. So, but I'm not saying like if I didn't play football, I was gonna play tennis. I don't think like if I didn't play football, I was gonna involve myself in any other sport as well now.
So let's say there was a person watching this video and was very inspired by your story. What is the best piece of advice you got for that person?
One thing that I will always tell you is never give up. No matter what comes your way, like just don't give up. Just keep going. Whether you are injured, whether you are rejected, whether you feel like you like whether everything sometimes it could happen. Whatever you do doesn't go on well for you, especially on the pitch. But you always need to reset and keep going. Have to keep going. This is something that is really important because the moment you tell yourself, no, you can't, trust me, you can't. But if you keep telling yourself you can, one day you can. Football is not something that's happened overnight. It's a step-by-step thing. It's a step-by-step thing, and you never know who is watching you. So wherever you go that you are playing, regardless of the like spectators, you wouldn't know. Maybe just one person watching you, and that person could be your breakthrough. It doesn't matter if you have like 1,000 people watching you. Just give you 100% wherever you are playing. And it could be a moment that could like pave way for great things to happen in your life.
So there was a question that was left for you from the last person that I interviewed. And his question was, how long is it going to take for you to invest in crypto? And if you have already invested in crypto, what did you invest in?
I've already done it. When I was in Sweden, I did invest in thinking in Bitcoin and in Dogecoin as well. But since I left Sweden, I don't know, but I have the account now. I've been checking. You know, crypto is something that sometimes you just put money in, and for me, I don't necessarily have to check what's going on with it. Maybe I have to wait a couple of years and then I see how much I've made or profit or something like that, you know. So I've already invested in crypto, and I did like a couple of 4 years ago or something, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult for me. One thing is also is if I have to check the crypto account and check the amount of money I have, then I need to be in Sweden, because Sweden it works with something that you have to and send you notifications in your Swedish number and something like that. So I need to be in Sweden.
What is one question you have for the next person that I interview?
What's the most important thing in life for the person?
Thank you so much, Sadat Karim, for taking the time out of your day to join me on this interview. I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are watching this video are inspired by your story and are more willing to take action because of the amount of value that you just provided to them. So yeah, thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time.
You are welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.